some of that information with them.
Was this the part where we were going to talk about the waste?
The OSHA violation.
Yes, yes. In fact, Paul, I've asked him to give us kind of a summary of the OSHA, kind of an OSHA update that we had informed you that we had.
Thank you, Jim.
We had received 2 different complaints, and Paul's going to review our status there.
On April 1st, we received an 8-count complaint alleging that we had 8 violations of OSHA rules. Just over 2 weeks later, on April 16th, we received a second complaint with 10 counts. The first 8 of those counts were identical to the complaints we received on April 1st, so really only 2 new counts on the second complaint. On April 10th, we did respond to OSHA on those complaints, along with our supporting documentation. In short, 3 of those 10 complaints, we believe, were due to contractors' actions, not district staff. 3 of the complaints we did not believe were violation, and 4 of the complaints we did accept as violations and made the corrective actions. Those complaints that we took corrective actions on included we had some surface water running into an electrical panel at City High. We've been working with the contractor since that had been installed, and we believe we have that corrected and rectified. We had a safety guard missing on a cable saw at the physical plant. We locked and tagged out the machine and subsequently purchased a safety guard and installed it. We also had obstructed means of egress in the print shop. Mind you, the print shop had been shut down, but basically the obstructed means were cans of paint or 5-gallon jars of bottles or buckets of paint had been stored, and we subsequently removed that. And then we also had material data safety sheets not readily available for employees, and we had purchased an in-house system that was used for making available our MSDS sheets, and that system was not that user-friendly and that up-to-date. And with regard to that particular issue, we have subsequently found a vendor who operates online web-based, and we are exploring that as a possible replacement. So MSDS sheets would be available to any employee that has access to the internet. As well, this vendor also has an 800 telephone number, so there's a second means of access to MSDS. Should an employee need it, they could make a telephone call. We replied again on April 10th. OSHA came out and made a few visits, primarily to City High. They also talked to and interviewed a number of our employees. On June 17th, we received a notation or a citation and notification of penalty with 13 separate violations, assessing fines totaling just over $16,000. On July 16th, the district filed a notice of contest to the June 17th citation, and we've been working with our legal counsel through every step of this matter. Earlier this month, on August 12th, district officials and legal counsel met with OSHA's legal counsel in Des Moines to work in an effort to finalize a settlement, and that's where our OSHA matter stands right now, as we are still waiting to hear from OSHA with regard to our meeting on August 12th.
Were there an additional 3, or maybe I'm not counting? I thought there were 8 counts and then 2 more, but then you said 13.
Okay.
It's 13 new ones, right?
Yes. Here's what happened. We received 2 separate complaints. OSHA came out and investigated those, and basically, except for 4, none of those were found valid. But when OSHA came and interviewed our employees, they identified items that were not originally contained in the original.
So this is 13 additional.
Correct.
For a total of 23. Now, what about the one with the toxic waste or whatever?
Are you referring to Lucas?
Yes.
It's floor wax. That was not an OSHA complaint. I believe that was DNR responded to. That was an issue of stripping floor wax from Lucas, and instead of disposing it down the sanitary sewer, our employees deposited the removed wax into the parking lot, which found its way to the storm sewer. DNR contacted us, and at that point, we contracted with, I can't remember the name of the business that helped us clean, we were instructed to clean the sewer, and that was completed, and I don't think we've heard anything else past that. So I think our cost was, on that was the contracting of the company that helped us flush really the materials from the sewer.
With
And that took place this summer. Was that,
Within the last month, I believe.
okay, right before school started?
How does this compare to, I mean, I don't know if 23 is a lot. It
That's what I was
sounds
just
like a lot.
asking.
And how would that compare to like a year ago?
In my 7-year tenure, I think these are the first and the only complaints from OSHA that I've been associated with. I think we may have had an OSHA complaint in excess of 7 years ago, but I think this is the first formal and official.
Why do you think so many this year?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a hypothesis for why so many?
No, I don't.
We've had a hypothesis given to the board that perhaps it has something to do with, I'll address this to you, the loss of the safety director's position in the district. Do you have a comment on that?
I can't say that that's the reason this occurred. We received, there were some complaints that were filed with OSHA, and, we don't know where those come from. I can't say that not having a safety director has increased our probability of having these incidents occur, these violations. So
These complaints were filed while we still had a safety coordinator, is that?
I think they were filed shortly after, it happened after, but some of the incidents, like the MSDS, that is an ongoing thing that happened when we did have a safety
one,
director.
It's not a process, though, where OSHA just sort of every year comes in and checks. And so you've got a baseline of, we had 6 years of clean bill of health, and all of a sudden there's an uptick. It's just a question of
When they show up?
when
When they get a complaint.
they're either asked to show up or they show up, I suppose, maybe on some other basis.
Right.
We have a process for our staff to address these safety issues of this apparent, I guess I should assume that. If an employee was concerned about a safety issue and with regard to facility or some
Sure.
situation, what would they do? What would you recommend they do?
We do have a district-wide safety committee, and Dr. Bailey alluded to that in the last report. We do meet quarterly, but not during the summer, so there are 3 meetings, and we have representatives from the various buildings and the various employee groups that sit on that committee. Folks can go to their building principal. The safety responsibilities have been assigned to the assistant physical plant director. They can contact Dave Gerwell, that individual, directly. The physical plant themselves have a safety subcommittee that I believe meets monthly, primarily with representatives from our custodial and our maintenance staff, primarily geared towards those operations. So staff can report to our safety person, being the assistant physical plant director, their principal, or whomever they're most comfortable with, and we'll follow up.
Probably another way to measure safety that we